You know, people ask me to run down guys I've buried over the years, and I mean, there's a list, a long one, but not today. Today, I'm flipping it. 5 names, guys who actually earned something from me, respect. Not a joke, not a bit, the real thing. So just hang on a second, because this one's different. Okay, so Hogan. First time I ever laid eyes on him, I wasn't even in the business the way people think. I mean, I was down in Alabama, this little football town, and this kid walks in, and I remember thinking, who is this? He wasn't even using his real name yet. He was still going by his real one before all the, before the vitamins and prayer stuff started. But even then, I'm telling you, he had this thing on him, like money just dripping off him. You could see it. I mean, some guys, you watch them walk into a building and you just know. And I didn't know him then, not really. We weren't friends or anything like that. But I kept seeing him around different towns, and every single time it was the same thing. Packed house, people losing their minds. I mean, that's not something you teach a guy. You either have it or you don't, and he had it. Now here's the part people don't really know. The night I got the belt, the Intercontinental one, that wasn't some big planned out thing. I mean, it really wasn't. The guy who was supposed to get it, he didn't show up. Simple as that. And I'm just walking through the hallway minding my business, and Hogan looks at me and goes, what about him? That's it. That's the whole story. One sentence, and my whole life changed. I didn't ask him for it. I didn't campaign for it. He just said my name at the right second to the right person. And I mean, that's power. That's real power in this business. When one man saying your name can change everything for you. So, whatever people want to say about him, and believe me, I've said plenty myself over the years, plenty, none of that erases what he did for me that one night. And look, I'm not a guy who hands out big comparisons easy, but I think about it like Muhammad Ali and boxing, Tiger Woods and golf. That's what Hogan did to wrestling. He didn't just win matches, he changed how regular people who never watched a single match in their life, how they looked at the whole thing. Before him, it was carnival folks in tights. After him, it was the biggest show in the country. I mean, everybody in this business, whether they liked him or not, whether he liked them or not, everybody owes him a thank you. Me included, especially me. So yeah, he's on my list. Not because we were close, we weren't, not really, but because a man doesn't forget who opened the door for him. I walked through a hallway one night as nobody, and I walked out of it as the Honky Tonk Man. And he's the reason why. I've said harder things about him in other interviews, sure, but none of that erases this one moment, and I'm not about to pretend it does. Now, Randy was a whole different animal. I mean, whole different. We went at it for, felt like forever, night after night, building this thing up. And people forget we were never friends. Not really. I mean, we were never sitting around having a beer together, talking about our families or whatever. Randy didn't let you in like that. I don't think he let anybody in like that, honestly, outside of his own blood. But in that ring, something clicked. I don't know how else to explain it. You'd lock up with some guys and it's just work. You're going through motions. With Randy, it was never that. Every single time it felt like something new was happening, even when it wasn't, even when we'd done the same match 100 times in 100 towns. He had this way of making every little moment feel like it mattered. A stare, a hesitation. He'd hold a beat just a half second longer than you expected, and the whole building would lean in with him. I remember one thing that always stuck with me. We made a rule between us. Never really said out loud, more just understood. Never repeat a spot. never do the same finish twice in the same town. Sounds simple. I mean, it sounds like nothing, but you'd be surprised how many guys couldn't do that. Randy could give you 20 different matches out of the same 5 moves just by changing the rhythm of it, the pauses. That's a skill, and it's not one they teach you in some training school today. And look, the man was a performer top to bottom. Off camera, he'd talk to you in that same voice, that same intensity, like the camera's never turned off for him. I used to joke with people, I'd do my little impression, "Ooh yeah, Honky Tonk Man, you're in the danger zone." And everybody around us would just crack up, because that's exactly how he talked all the time, not just on TV. We sold out building after building together, and I'll say this plainly, what he and I built, it helped him more than it helped me, if I'm honest. Because after all that chasing, he ended up world champion, bigger spot than I ever got. And I don't say that with any bitterness, I mean, none at all, because that's what a great worker does. He takes the story and he elevates himself right out of it into something bigger. So when people ask me who could really work a match like it mattered, Randy's right there at the top. Not because we were close, we weren't, but because for however many nights we shared that ring together, he made me better just by being across from me. And that's rare. That's the real thing right there. Doesn't matter how many years go by, you don't forget a guy who made you earn it every single night. Jake's a tricky one to talk about, honestly, because there's so much noise around him, so much stuff people think they know. But if you ask me straight, who did I enjoy being across the ring from the most? I mean, it's Jake every time. Now, the thing about Jake, you never quite knew what you were getting. I mean that in a good way, mostly. Some nights he'd show up early, sharp, ready to go, full ideas. Other nights he wouldn't show up at all and you'd just deal with it. That was Jake. And I never held it against him the way some guys did, because when he was there, when he was locked in, there was nobody better to stand across from. Nobody. He had this way of talking, you know, that snake thing, the voice, the pauses, and it wasn't an act, not really, that was just him turned up a little. I mean, you'd be in the back before a show and he'd start telling you some story and half the boys would just stop what they were doing to listen. That's a gift. You can't teach a man to hold a room like that. I've been around a lot of talkers in this business, a whole lot, but very few of them could actually make you lean in without raising their voice once. Now, there's a story that's followed us both around for years of the guitar on his show, The Snake Pit. And I've heard the version where I heard him, where it was some real piece of wood, no gimmick to it at all. I'll tell you right now, that's not what happened. I mean, I've said this before and I'll keep saying it. I took real pride my whole career in never actually hurting the men I worked with. Never. And it bothers me, honestly, that story got repeated so many times in books and everywhere else without anybody ever picking up the phone and asking me first. But here's the thing, even with all that, even with the mess that came after, I never stopped respecting what he brought into that ring. We built something real together, the two of us, over all those months. People still talk about it. And I mean, isn't that strange that the guy tied to the messiest story of my whole career is also the guy I'd pick first? If you told me I had to have one more match right now, tonight, that's Jake for you. Complicated, frustrating sometimes, if I'm honest. But when it mattered, when the lights came on, there was nobody I trusted more to make it feel real. And That's the truth of it, whether people want the complicated version or not. I'd still pick him tomorrow, honestly, if somebody handed me the choice. Complications and all, Steamboat. Now this one's got some layers to it, so bear with me a second. I mean, this is the man I beat for that title, the one that changed my whole career. And I don't think people really understand what that night felt like from my side of it. I was walking in there as basically a nobody with a guitar gimmick, and he was the champion, the guy everybody respected, the real deal in the ring. And I win the title using every trick I had, every rope I could grab a hold of, and the whole building just turns on me. I mean, instantly. That's the moment right there. That's when the Honky Tonk Man really got born in a strange way because of him, because of what he represented that I was taking away. You don't get that kind of reaction from a crowd unless the man across from you means something to them already. Now here's the part that still sits a little funny with me, if I'm being honest. Years later, I hear he'd said something about not liking losing the belt to, an Elvis impersonator. And I'll tell you that struck a nerve with me, because I thought, listen, Dragon, you could have lost that thing to 100 different guys in 100 different get-ups, and somehow this was the one that bothered you. I mean, it stayed with me longer than it probably should have, if I'm honest. But, and this is the important part, none of that changes what happened between the ropes. I mean, say what you want about the man off camera, but when that bell rang, he was as good as anybody I ever stood across from. Smooth, precise. He made you look better just by being in there with you, whether you deserved it or not. And I certainly didn't always deserve it back then. Every move landed exactly where it was supposed to every time. And that's not luck. That's a man who's put in the hours. We had matches after that one too, plenty of them. And honestly, most of it was fine between us, professional, the way it should be. I mean, two guys who understood the business, even if we didn't always understand each other. So yeah, it's complicated, this one. Respect for the worker, a little bit of leftover pride still poking at me when I think about that comment. Both things can be true at once, that's how this business works sometimes. You don't get clean feelings about everybody, but you remember the ones who made you better. And he did, whether either one of us likes admitting it or not. I don't need us to be friends for that to still be true either. Some respect doesn't come with a handshake attached. Now this last one, this one's family, Jerry, my cousin, and I mean, I want to be honest here because it'd be easy to just sugarcoat it, make it sound like some sweet little story about two cousins growing up close. It wasn't that, not really. We saw each other as kids, sure, family gatherings and all that, but we were never close. I mean, never hung out, never called each other up just to talk. And then we both ended up in the same business, same territory even, and that's when things got complicated. Money stuff, booking stuff. I'm not going to sit here and pretend we didn't clash, because we did plenty of times over the years. There were stretches where I wasn't exactly kind about him publicly, and I know he wasn't exactly kind about me either. That's just the honest version of it. But here's the thing, and this is what I want people to actually hear. None of that touches what he could do once he stepped through those ropes or once he grabbed a microphone. I mean, nobody worked a crowd in that territory the way he did. He'd talk and the whole room would just lean toward him. And in the ring, same thing. He had this instinct, this timing that you just don't teach a person. You either grow up with it or you don't. And I'll say something I don't say about many people. I copied him. I mean that plainly. Early on, watching how he built a match, how he built a promo, I took pieces of that and made them my own. So however many hard feelings sat between us as family, as cousins, professionally, I owed him something. And I don't think I ever really told him that straight to his face, not the way I'm saying it right now. We had more matches together than I can even count at this point, way back before either one of us was anybody outside our own little corner of the business. And looking back on all of it, past all the money arguments, past all the years we barely spoke, there was still that respect underneath it. Not a family kind of respect, a professional one. The kind that doesn't go away just because two people had their issues. I mean, you can be genuinely frustrated with somebody and still tip your hat to what they can do. Those two things aren't in conflict, not really, no matter what people assume. So yeah, blood or not, close or not, when I think about who really shaped how I worked, who I actually studied without even meaning to, it's him. And I hope wherever things stand between us these days, he knows that's real. Because I don't hand that kind of thing out easy. Not to anybody, especially not to family. So there it is, 5 names. And that's not a list I hand out easy, not after all these years of doing pretty much the opposite in every interview I've ever sat down for. People know me for the other thing, the berries, the shots at guys. And look, I'm not apologizing for any of that. Most of it I stand behind still today. But every now and then, you know, a man's got to stop and admit somebody actually got to him, actually earned it. Not because they were nice to me, half of them weren't really, if I'm being honest, but because of what they did once that bell rang or once a microphone got put in front of them. That's the only currency that ever really mattered to me in this business. Not friendship, not family even, just can you go, can you make it real? And that's rarer than people think. I've stood across from hundreds of guys over the years, and I could probably name you every single one who couldn't do it. But the ones who could, those stick with you. Those you carry around, whether you want to admit it out loud or not. 5 names. That's it. That's the whole list, and I'm not adding a 6th just because somebody asked me nicely next week. So no, I didn't come here today to bury anybody. Strange feeling, honestly, but I'll tell you this much, and then I'm done. Cool, cocky, bad hasn't changed a single bit. I just decided, for once, to be honest about who made me that way.